Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and I'm a third year foundation phase student teacher, and today I had writer's block. So I decided I'm going to make a bit of a mind map about what I needed to write or what I needed to get across. So I had to do a slideshow, but mind maps work for pretty much everything. And so I decided to make a mind map about how to make a mind map, I guess. So here I have it on my board. I hope you can see all of that. And I basically just wanted to explain how it can work for whatever you are doing. So in the middle, you've obviously got your topic, which can be literally anything. So literally the topic of your essay. And what I quickly wanted to say about essays, just a quick little tip, when doing an intro, they always, I know in university, I'm not so sure about school, but they always give you like a little paragraph or whatever, and then there's questions to follow, just depending on the lecturer, blah, blah, blah. In that paragraph that they give you, or in that sentence or statement that they are making, is exactly what you need to put into your intro so that you can tell the person who's reading this what it's all about. So here it is in my first little bubble up here is the intro. And the thing that I love about mind maps is that it's completely your own. As you can see, I've used a lot of colors. There's no actual like method to the madness when it comes to the colors, and it's a bit skew and it's like bubbles, and the bubbles all over the place. But the point is that it needs to be you, authentically you. Your rough ideas need to go straight onto the paper so that you can then organize those ideas and put them into a brilliant assignment. So the thing with the intro is you need to tell them, so you need to state to the reader that you know what is expected of you, but you also need to tell the reader what they can expect from you in the essay, if that makes sense. My English teacher always told me in high school that you need to write your essay, or you need to do your PowerPoint, or whatever it is that you need to do. You need to do it as though it's very rudely put, but it made sense and it stuck with me all these years, is you need to write the essay as if an idiot is reading it or going to read it. So yeah, just keep in mind that whenever you are writing an essay, even though you know that your lecturer knows what you are writing about, you need to write it in such a way as if you're explaining it to them for the first time. And then the next thing in your intro can be definitions. But definitions can be a little bit tricky in your intro. You need to make sure that they're short and sweet, and that it doesn't become a half-page intro. I personally don't like to write an intro that is half a page, because then you're basically writing all your main ideas into the intro. This is for PowerPoints, it is for essays, for any assignment that you're doing. You don't want to give it away just yet. So you want to give them a bit of a teaser. You want to give them to get them thinking, to get their brain working, to get them excited about what they're about to read. But you don't want to give away too much. You can also add questions. I made a little bubble up here. It says questions. So do some questions that are like short and sweet, or questions that again will get them thinking, get them really intrigued into what you have to say in your main ideas. Then we move on to our main idea number one. Now, what I know from school is what I was taught is that when you're doing an essay, and I think a lot of people forget this, an assignment or an essay at university is always going to be, pretty much always going to be argumentative. So when you are writing an argumentative essay, never ever, or really try not to use the words me, my, I, anything to do with yourself, because then you are just giving an opinion. You don't want to give an opinion. The thing about an essay and an assignment, especially academic assignments, is that they need to be factual. So they need to know that you are not giving your opinion. And obviously they can see it's factual by all the referencing and all of that fun stuff. But so yeah, you don't want to ever, or you want to try not to use me, my, and I, because you don't, it's argumentative, if I could put it like that. If they ask for your opinion, then by all means, I have done it. When they ask for your opinion, give your opinion. Say, I believe, or given the blah, 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 I have formulated an opinion about blah, 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 depending on how many words you need. But just remember that when going on, now we're back at the main idea. When we go to the main idea, I put here in like a little gray circle, that your essay needs to flow. So what you need to do is you need to create your 3 main ideas. Normally there are 3. I've only done 2 here. One is going to explain the main ideas, how the main ideas work in an essay, and how the main ideas work in a PowerPoint. So because they work a little bit differently. But in general, if you're talking academic assignment, it's going to be 3 main ideas, or you call it 3 main arguments that you are going to make. So those 3 things that you need to discuss to argue your point of why you agree or disagree with the statement that they've given you in your topic, and you need to almost state that, but slyly state it in your intro. I really hope this is making sense, because it feels like my brain is kind of going 1,000 miles an hour. So in your main ideas, in a mind map, you'll say main idea number 1, main idea number 2, main idea number 3. But I've just done main idea number 1. But the main idea here is to talk about the essay type of argument. So your argument must be a statement. You can't be unsure of your argument. You must always make sure that the argument that you are putting out there, that you are confident in that argument. So just as you're about to go argue with someone, which please don't, we don't need any more conflict in this world. But if you are going to, you always go with, even though in an argument it's your opinion, basically, an argumentative essay or an academic assignment is your opinion or how you feel about something, but that is backed up by facts. But you mustn't let the lecturer know that you feel that way directly. You must indirectly tell them. I don't know, is this even making sense? I hope so, but okay. So your argument number 1 or main idea number 1 the argument must be clear. You must make a bold statement, or try to make a bold statement about the topic. All 3 main ideas will be about the topic, but it must be remembered that all 3 main ideas, if they were running like this, need to follow up on each other. They need to flow, and try not to let the main ideas become one, because that it messes around. You don't want to hop back and forth. You want to finish one main idea or main argument and move on to the next one. So it must be clear, and it must explain why your argument, so your statement saying cheese is made of dairy. If that is my argument, I need to explain why it's my argument, why I say that, by using facts that I've researched, that I have knowledge on now because I've researched it. And then it must be relevant to the topic. Always remember, always try and bring yourself, when you feel like you're starting to ramble, always come back to what was the topic and is it relevant to my topic. So that's pretty much all you have to remember when it comes to arguments or argumentative essays or academic assignments or whatever you call them, is that it must always be clear. You must always explain your argument, but it mustn't be your opinion of, oh, it's dairy because it comes from a goat or whatever, because that is true, but you need to back it up with resources and facts and all that fun stuff. So again, that would just be avoiding your opinion on it, but indirectly you are giving your opinion. If that makes sense. I'm not 100% sure if this is making sense. It's making sense in my head. So hit that thumbs up button if it is making sense, so that I know this video was helpful. Okay, so the next one is my main idea number 2, which is about PowerPoints. So whenever you're doing a PowerPoint or slideshow, it is important to remember that you are not really arguing anything. You're giving facts, it must be fun. So the first thing here I said was you need to give facts, but facts that are based on references that you've obviously gotten from textbooks and Google and all of that. Very, very important is that it mustn't come across as aggressive as in a essay. It must still be relevant to the topic, of course. So if the topic is cheese, it needs to be all about cheese. And then a fun little idea that you can add to a PowerPoint, which is always makes it a little bit more interesting, is mind maps. So mind maps make things nice and short and quick. So it's quick for the eye to see. It keeps the interest of the lecturer or whoever is reading it or looking through it. You want to keep their attention. So it keeps their attention. And the thing about a PowerPoint, the thing that you want to remember about a PowerPoint when doing a PowerPoint is that it needs to be short, quick facts. Like it needs to be quick. It can't be this long paragraph. The person reading it or the person listening or whatever is going to get super bored. And that's not the idea of a PowerPoint. It needs to be interesting. So like my assignment is aimed at grade 2 and 3. So there's going to be a lot of pictures. There's going to be like a few words in a sentence. It's not going to be this whole paragraph. I find that some of my lecturers, obviously when it's a lecture it has to be like a lot of information, and I get that, but when I'm reading other lectures that are like short and sweet, I seem to like keep my attention more. So yeah, that's all you really have to remember for your PowerPoint. Your introduction in your PowerPoint is going to be more or less the same to the intro in your essay, and then your conclusion brings everything together. But I made a note here that says, don't repeat everything that you've just said. It needs to just bring it together. So you need to lightly touch on some of the stuff, and then you need to bring together all your main ideas. You need to bring them together to then make your point, if that makes sense. The conclusion is, and that's my point, Kate's closed, if that makes sense. So you need to just bring it together. I don't know if you've ever watched like Law and Order or something, and you know when that lawyer who's fighting so hard finally reaches that point where it's like, oh my goodness, like that makes sense, and then just like, you know, and then they get the guilty verdict. That's basically how I see a conclusion. It's like I've made my point now, and that's the end. And then you win, I think. And then I also just said it needs to be short and powerful, which it does need to be short and powerful. It needs to get to the point, but it needs to be like a real banger, you know. So, and then things to remember in your PowerPoint is that it must be colorful, short sentences, pictures, everything I've just said. And in your essay, things to remember is don't ramble, or try not to ramble and give like almost useless information because you're trying to look for words. Just spend a little bit more time maybe finding more facts about it. I know that that's not always ideal, or that's not always what you want to do. I get that. I feel the same. But yeah, I really hope this video was helpful. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!